Oh dear. Okay. It looks like I was hosting Jesse Quill originally, and then it rehosted Jesse Quill, and then I think I am live. Apologies about that. The VOD title would have been messed up, so I needed to escape. As I was saying a little bit before, sorry for a slightly later start. Tonight, I needed to get like dinner and stuff like that sorted out. It's always a little hit or miss to try and predict when a stream will be. I try to announce the things as closely as I can. So like I guess the big thing is that if I announce 5 minutes before I'm casting that I'm going to be late, that's not helpful to anyone because everybody can already figure out that I'm late. So once I get an indication that I'll probably be delayed in terms of casting, I try and announce that. But of course, prediction is hard, especially about the future. So I don't do a very good job of hitting the times. I'll do my best. But these things happen. But we are back to Into the Breach. So I think I'll wait for Jess to come by before I explain the title from last cast. I really like this game. So as a quick introduction and maybe a little bit of table setting, this game obviously is very highly anticipated, and rightly so. I mean, so Subset Games are the creators of FTL, Faster Than Light, or as I like to call it, FTL Than Light. But it's kind of like the indie game that you will have heard of. It's hard to think of few more successful indie titles. It's a really wonderful game. It's one that has a special memory for me because it was the first game that I played and beat in my new apartment at when I moved to the city I currently live in, which is Ottawa, my nation's capital. So I was really excited for Into the Breach. But one of the challenges with a really highly anticipated game is that there were some promotional codes that were made available. But by the time that I was aware of them, they'd already been taken up. So, I kind of figured, I definitely, like to buy and support games that I enjoy. But one of the big things for me is that because I have a big backlog of games, I sort of think, well, I can buy something, but I'll buy it if I think, I'll play it right away. And Into the Breach was sort of a marginal one for me because I figured everybody else would be playing it. And there wasn't a really big incentive for me to get it, day one. But then I also know it's something that everybody would really enjoy watching me play. So I sent out a quick message to my GOG contact, and I said, hey, you sort of know the stuff that I do. I'd be really interested in doing Into the Breach. And pretty much without hesitation, just fired off a quick key. So I'm very grateful to GOG for that. I believe we have already got a few people who have used the affiliate link to buy it. That helps me out, and it does also recognize, the work that GOG did to let me do this game for you. So I'll use the !game command. If you are interested in picking up the game Into the Breach, obviously you can buy that through all the major sources. So you can buy that off of Humble, you can buy that off of Steam. I am using the GOG copy, and one of the reasons why I'm partnered with GOG is because they are a DRM-free platform. As a Canadian, because I'm buying in a foreign currency, well, foreign to most distributors, the fair price policy is something that I've personally benefited from. They will give you store credit in terms of the difference between the regional pricing. So if the game costs $60 and you're being charged €60, there's quite a price difference there. So they make up sort of the difference in the nominal value through GOG store credit. And then of course they do have a returns policy. Now I believe most people will say it's less generous than Steam. So Steam, basically you can return for any reason within 2 hours. So if I didn't like Into the Breach, let's say after, I don't know, an hour and 45 minutes, I could return it and get it for free. I'm not entirely sure that's the most developer-friendly policy. So I believe the return policy for GOG is that they will make a good faith effort with you to get the game working. And if the game isn't working, then you can get a return, which I think is a fair one. So I think there is a certain sort of onus on the person not to just buy something sight unseen, and if there's maybe a moment of buyer's remorse or something like that, I don't think you'll quite get a return that way. But if it's a case of, I mean, obviously a lot of classic games, which is why I originally started buying stuff off of GOG, there's not always a guarantee that those things are going to work. And so, unlike Steam, where it's sort of just dumped on the platform, and if it doesn't work, then you return it, GOG will actually take the effort of making sure that the thing runs properly. And with that in mind, if they can't get it working, then you'll get your return. What else was I going to say about that? Oh yeah, one of the reasons why I like saying that it's a little less, why it's a little more fair to developers is I definitely understand there are problems with sort of shovelware winding up on various platforms. I think most people kind of know how to detect a game with very little effort put into it. But I think one of the things I like about GOG's return policy personally, and again, this is from the view that I think people like Subset and Weather Factory and all these other developers who either I've reached out to or they've wound up giving me keys for, or just simply people who I really enjoy following their projects and getting the most out of, is that their work has value, and I feel that it needs to be recognized. And so one of the ways that I think the GOG returns policy is a little bit more balanced and superior is that the fact of the matter is that it's very easy now to find out what a game is like. So if you guys are on the fence about Into the Breach, you can watch my stream, you can decide if it's your kind of thing, and you can make a purchase decision that way. You can read some forums, you can check some online reviews, you can watch YouTube videos. I mean, even within certain clients, you're able to watch people. You're able to watch people sort of stream it. So not on GOG, but on other storefronts, you are actually able to see how people are playing the game if you want. So it's never been easier to become more informed about games. So with that in mind, I like the GOG policy because in the end, creators are sort of compensated for their time and their effort, but in a way that ensures that that gamers are also able to make sure that they have things that they want. So with that in mind, very big thank you to GOG. Again, I partner with them for a reason. And if you guys would like to put a little bit of support towards the stream, or you would like to sort of recognize the effort of GOG, or maybe you're just purely self-interested and you'd prefer to own your game rather than rent it on Steam, you can use that affiliate link. It will put a little money in my pocket, and it will give you the same game, but DRM free, so you can do with it as you will. You don't need to worry about being connected online, or that was a big one for me for Democracy 3. Moving right along, we've already beaten the game once, played it twice. So I've got a new time traveler. I believe this Chenrong. I believe I don't have full XP for her yet. I think I'm going to start her off in the punching mech because I really love that one. We've already got our 3 achievements for the Rift Walkers, so at this point I'm just looking to do a 3 and a 4 island victory, and then we can put away those victory medals. So we will carry on with that. I think I'm still going to stay with normal difficulty for a while we're picking up the achievements. I don't know if yeah, so it looks like the achievements stay the same no matter what. We'll maybe try hard after we get a little more experience. And we'll, as usual, start with Archive Incorporated. Archive Incorporated head office. Civilizations of the past had a military strength vastly exceeding ours. Good thing we preserved some of their old war machines. Alright, so for those of you who are not familiar with the game, basically you control 3 mechs. There may be more, I don't know what some of the other squads are like, but basically we have access to 3 mechs and their associated pilots. Basically you are going back in time to stop an invasion from sort of a bug species called the Vek. And it is very XCOM-ish in some ways. I'll maybe talk about them while I go through the game, but this is sort of equivalent to the Geoscape. You need to pick individual locations. They're each going to have certain rewards. Right now I'm picking between 2 sort of 2 reputational bonuses, and I think part of what's going to happen is I'm going to unlock different missions. So the idea here is that between Forgotten Hills and Old Earth Peak, I believe with Old Earth Peak I'll unlock this and this, whereas Forgotten Hills, I'm going to unlock this. So more reputation will allow me to buy things at the end of the island, whereas power is basically my overall health. That's sort of the roguelike element, and power persists. Even though you lose it in a given map, it persists between levels, so you want to keep an eye on that. So because of the level of Chenrong, turns out that she is max level, she gets a bonus reactor. So right now I've got my Titan Fist. I don't have enough for dash, which is a really good upgrade, but I can decide to either gain additional move or additional health. For now, I think I'm going to give myself some extra movement systems. I can, if I ever want, I can remove it out. I could boost the health, but I like the idea of a little extra mobility. My other guys right now, just a simple cannon and artillery. The artillery mech can become quite powerful if you upgrade it properly, but for now we're just going to pick our mission. I like the idea here, so do not kill the volatile Vek. I'm not 100% sure what that entails, and it seems to me that a lot of my strategies to kill things like volatile Vek, or sorry, to move volatile Veks also involve doing damage to them. So I think I'm going to have an easier time getting the bonus objectives for the Forgotten Hills, so I'll start there. Also, it gives me access to more reputation ones, so if I get a strong start at the beginning, then I get the option of buying up more power grid later. These satellites were recovered from orbit a long time ago, but they should still function well enough to help us detect Vek activity across the island. So we'll start the mission. So, again, I always like making the analogy with, oh, looks like there's new abilities. I always like making the analogy with XCOM. So in XCOM, you don't necessarily choose your starting locations, but basically you might compare this to sort of the XCOM 2 hidden segment, where you sort of get to set yourself up for the first round. These guys will move and reply to what you do, and then you're going to spend your turn sort of figuring out how to reply to what they've done. So, armored unit. This unit is armored. All incoming weapon damage will be reduced by 1. All other damage, push, fire, blocking, etc. is unaffected. So the effective HP is basically 4 on this thing. Is the best way that I would read that, which is fine. I have some ways of dealing with that. So, and the Shell Scion, you can hold down Control to see what it does. So hardened carapace, all other Vek have incoming weapon damage reduced by 1. The Eyes of Sin, thank you very much for that, host, you beautiful woman. How are you doing tonight? So if I focus down this guy, then I basically increase, I sort of increase the damage that I'm going to wind up doing on these guys. So I always like to put my, my armor sort of in the center. I'm also going to put the cannon, actually, now I'm going to put the cannon off to the side like this, and then my artillery I'm going to put here. The idea here with the artillery is they behave a bit like a rook. So you'll notice that my range here, the only thing that they're not going to be able to affect, actually, what? No, I'm going to keep them here. The only thing they would be able to affect is sort of this this back rank here. The other challenge might be that if I need to attack this guy, I wouldn't be able to maneuver my artillery over here. But you have to make some decisions and commit to them, so I am very well playing a game which you know I tremendously enjoy, and it's always very nice to have good people hanging out and checking out the cast. Okay, so one of the most important things that you can do in this game is figure out what your maneuvers are going to be. So an excellent example of a dilemma that I have at the moment. So I'll give you an example of the obvious step, right? Move my combat mech to punch this guy down. Actually, I still might be able to make this work. So the quote-unquote obvious move would be punch this thing down so I'm able to do more damage to the Hornets, and then I shoot this thing, and I need to figure out what I do with this Hornet here. So here's the challenge. So most of the attacks that the combat mech, the tank, and the artillery wind up having is they usually knock things back. So this Hornet is attacking this location here. So I can either kill it or I can move it. Similarly, I can, with this guy I can kill or move it, and this guy I can kill him or move him. So let me think a little bit about my options. Okay, so I kill this guy. He's not actually potentially damaging any, well, I actually have some sneaky ideas on how to make this work. I think I'm going to get myself a little bit of a head start. So I'm going to have to deal with one extra enemy, but I'll explain the maneuver that I'm doing right now. So I'm going to take this artillery. The original plan was going to be I use, hello Johnny Big Time, it's great to see you again too. I'm going to have to give a bunch of shout outs at the start because all the good people are here right at the start. And that makes me very happy, about as happy as I was at work. I was very happy at work today. So the original plan was going to be I use this tank to shoot this Hornet out of the way, so that protects the satellite, which is one of my objectives. I'll use the punchy mech to kill this guy. Oh, hang on. You know what? I still think I'm going to try this. This may not work exactly as I want. So I was going to punch this thing down basically so that the armor bonus goes away. But the problem, and then the next step. Oh, actually, sorry, I wasn't going to do that. Wait, the tank was going to shoot this guy because if I use an artillery shell to move this thing to the left, it's still going to attack the building, and there's going to be power loss. So what I needed to do was take the tank, move it back, shoot this guy out of the way, move the artillery back one so it doesn't take damage, move this thing to the right, or I could move it to the left. And again, Mech Boy over here punches the crap out of the Shell Scion. That's not what I'm going to do, though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by moving my artillery up. And what I'm going to wind up doing is I'm going to knock both my Mech and the Shell Scion back. Reason I'm doing this is this guy is now blocking the Vex spawn. So I have one fewer enemy to deal with next turn, and this guy takes 1 damage, which opens some possibilities for me. What I do now is I'm going to move Chen up. Chen needs to punch this guy so that they move back. Again, they have the 1 armor, so what normally would have killed them no longer does so. And so the final step that I have is Isabel. Now what with Isabel, because they only do 1 damage, this is just going to neutralize the threat to the satellite, but that's fine for me right now. The only thing that could potentially make this better is if I have a way of damaging this guy through the move, but I can't, so I won't. So, as you can see, everything that was potentially going to damage important structures is no longer there. I'm going to have, well, 4 enemies to deal with now, so this is going to set the forest on fire, but I'm not worried by that. But basically what's going to happen, this guy's going to take some damage, this thing's going to come up, and we get to sort of see what the major threats are next round. So the hope here is that this is going to set me up for a better round next turn. I get victory in 4 turns, so we'll see... we'll sort of see how long we can hold out without taking any substantial damage. Why am I allowed to move again? After attacking, gain 1 free tile movement. You know what? We'll block this guy in. I'm okay with that. Okay. Let's stomp that Vec back where it came from. Ah. This is gonna make things complicated for sure. Nope, okay. So, very important thing to remember about this game is that your characters will totally regenerate their armor between turns. So the cities are 100% the most important goals. This guy's webbed, so he's not going to be able to do anything about this scorpion, but that's fine because my first priority should be killing the guy who's granting that armor bonus. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with an artillery shot to kill this guy. Also, guess what? This guy's now attacking his buddy, so I have some options to work with now. One thing I can do is I can move my tank up. Actually, this will get me 2 for 1, so I'm going to do that. Which means, oh, I'm just shy of being able to help my artillery. That is a shame. I'm gonna undo that move because, yeah, I'm gonna move him up. All right, so a bit of a shame there that he's gonna take some damage. I didn't quite have the range that I needed, but can't be helped. So we'll land the turn. Yep. This unit is in need of repair. And we only need to defend 1 rocket for 3 turns now. Alright, I'm not at all worried about being webbed. Okay. So one of the first and obvious things that I can do is an artillery shot down here to just move everybody out of the way. Let's see if I've got a more sophisticated answer to the problem. So one thing that I can do is I can shoot... Okay. So originally what I was going to do is I was going to shoot this thing to the right, but the problem is that's going to wind up attacking this building, which is not what I want to have happen. So what I will do instead... this is going to be a problem too. Okay, I don't like this option a whole lot, but start by punching this guy. We'll move this guy. I gotta think about how I'm doing this. There was a logic that I had to this that I suddenly lost, so I need to take a minute to think about how I'm doing this. What I'm trying to do is so I've got 2 different people attacking this building here, and I need to think about how I'm going to prevent the damage. I thought about this the wrong way. So what the move should be, I move my... Actually, I still could have pulled it. I totally unnecessarily hit that, that reset. Oh, nope, that still doesn't work. Okay, well, because my priority is protecting the buildings, we'll knock these things out of the way first. I'm going to move my mech up to the front, and I mean, again, I might as well just do the damage here because they're absorbing some of the heat already. Now the challenge is that this is attacking one of the satellite launches. It's not the end of the world because the satellite will still be able to the satellite will still be able to launch, but I, again, want to minimize the damage that's happening. So it does mean that we're going to have to deal with some ads coming in next time, but this thing's on fire, this thing's on fire, this thing's on fire, which means that the tank will be able to kill this thing next turn, the mech will be able to kill this thing, and my artillery will be able to kill this thing. And then, again, there's going to be 2 other guys, so we'll have to work out exactly what the priorities are in terms of keeping things alive. Turns out it died before, so I should have thought through that. Yes, Melee Mage. I'm trying to get all of the achievements before I go any further. All right. So the only thing I'm particularly concerned about here is what happens to what happens with the firebug. Now, one of the nice options that I have, I get to free up my my punchy mech. And the real decision that I need to, well, you know what, I might as well just, there we go. So that was a fairly simple way of dealing with the problem. You somehow lucked up on all of your achievement setups for the squads on their first play. Excellent. So have you beaten the game already, Melee Mage? I found it relatively straightforward. Obviously I kind of screwed up the first time I played, but... I've dreamed of launching those satellites into space my entire life. It's amazing to see old Earth technology still serving its purpose. So, I guess the thing that I like the most about Into the Breach, and I think this is really what makes this game special, is it's done one of the best jobs in terms of strategy of making it focus around objectives. So even as much as I like XCOM, almost all of the missions involve killing everybody on the board. This one really says, like, you could lose everyone on your team, and it would be fine as long as you keep the city alive. So my big priority right now will be to go to Safeguard Valley. I need to defend the tanks. Next thing I get after that is one of these objectives, which has reputation and power. After that, I believe, let me think. I think we get 2 more after that. So after that, I think we have to do the boss for the area. You've got engineers working on 2 old Earth tanks in the region. They should be up and running shortly after you arrive. You beat the game with the smoke team. Okay. I think I'm going to go for my usual setup, which is a good solid front line. I'm going to put the artillery here, and that's just because I want options in terms of moving along these lines. I could put them in the back too and achieve the same effect, but it's nice to also have some some variation in terms of moving up and down. So, do you hear something? We're rescued. We're saved. Help is here. Okay. That's a bit of a pig to deal with, to be totally honest, but here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take care of that. So the other question now, nope, we've got a pretty easy answer to this. So this is we're basically not gonna have any ads, only 1 damage to this mech. So what do we do here? Well, we knock him out of the way and say, stop damaging my tank. Yeah, I'm gonna be trying to get extra islands. I'm gonna be trying to get extra islands this time, Melee Mage, so we're in the same boat. Alright, so it seems to me the best option here is to get 2 for 1, just punch this guy into the, the Hornet. 2 Vec threats removed. Reason for removals, pilot wrong. Now this isn't necessarily optimal because I could have leveled up another character doing this. But, I work with what I've got, right? The other thing that I can do here is I could block another one. Well, you know what? I'm feeling bold. Especially because this is going to be really constraining on whatever comes up, so I'm okay. I've only got 3 more turns, so as long as I'm fairly careful with... yeah. Okay. That's... Alright, so this is going to be a bit of a dilemma. Got new friendlies on our side. Okay, good news. So, one of these, so he's going to wind up blocking his friend. This guy's going to be protecting a... what do I want to do? I think... Well... I can take 2 damage. You know what? I'll live with that. Now the question is, do I want to seal the deal? And the answer is no. We'll repair 1 damage. And then... the question is, do I deal with a fresh new enemy, or do I kill this guy and live with the consequences? I'll probably regret doing this, but... So yeah, these things can only push. So interesting about these tanks. You found out on your last turn I was defending them. Yeah, it's a neat mechanic. Okay, so the cool thing here is that I'm just trying to avoid my guys dying. I can lob artillery on my ally. Yeah, so the big dilemma here is that the armor causes me a lot of grief. So we'll move this guy forward. We'll knock him into fire. That's compliments of the... You know, honestly, just taking the damage is... Well, no, there's still stuff I can do. I mean, there's nothing groundbreaking, but... I don't know. Do something fancy. push you up. They have actions. Do you take the artillery upgrade for no building damage? You found it really useful. Depends on my circumstances, Melee Mage, because giving +2 damage to the artillery is also an insanely good bonus. So, again, it's always a question of how the so the real question is, how have I built the rest of my team, really? Some situations, the removing the building damage is a lifesaver. It's a really defensive choice, but sometimes the best defense is a good offense. So, anyways, tanks are defended, and I am going to enjoy a nacho. And when I say nacho, what I'm probably going to get is a big old thing of cheese. That is correct. All right. So I've got artillery support and power generator, block the Vex spawning 3 times and protect the coal vent. I kind of prefer this. Our technicians recently got an old Earth artillery battery up and running. Please make sure that it survives the fight. So yeah, it's 2 items to defend, so I might have some difficult choices to make. But the game wouldn't be interesting if I didn't have difficult choices to make. So I'm taking a big risk by moving these 2 guys here, because if they both get webbed, then there's going to be some problems with this firebug. But again, you never know. You can't predict what's coming up, so you just do the best with what you have. All right, not surprising. That is unfortunate. So, one of the big problems here is that I can't move this guy right now. Because if I move him to the left, I attack the artillery. If I move him to the right, he attacks the building. So, all right, so right now I'm thinking I do a shot on this guy for the 1 damage, move this out of the way. Big Mech comes up, punches him, takes him down. Tank. Ooh. Okay, well, this thing can take a shot, but so can this. So here's how I'm going to do it. Hang on. Yes. So, boom. Move you up. Down. I don't want to send him into fire, so... And I almost blew it, but... So, this mech's going to stand in the way of that shot, and... I think I'm going to live with these... I'm going to leave with these moves. Hello! This would have been very helpful to know about. Okay, well, nobody takes damage. Yeah, I don't have a system nom. Yes, Johnny, Eyes of Sin, all the best people are here. We got Melee Mage, we got Johnny Big Time, we got the Eyes of Sin, and we got what looks like a number of lurkers, which I really appreciate, because I really like this game. Okay. So... the best solution is one that allows me to knock some of these guys back onto places where they emerge. I'm going to start by taking this guy down. I'll leave my options open. I'm pretty sure this this unit's going to wind up on fire no matter what. But I do get some options, so while I can't directly damage them, this will free up my tank. Okay, so he's only doing that one attack. Move you up. Move my flaming tank up. Oh, and I can move this thing. Very interesting. Alright, so this guy's going to take some damage, but again, we only have 3 turns for victory, so we're in good shape. It's going to be 2 points of damage that he takes, so I want to be... I have to heal myself this turn. Do I want to stand... Okay, let's make some decisions about where I'm... I think I kind of want to go aggressive on these things. So this is going to give me some options on how I deal with my remaining threats. So the remaining threats that I need to deal with are ones that... they're basically a result of... oh, you know what? This is going to be so good. Ah, oh, crap. Is there any other way that I can pull this off? I really... Oh, yes, I can. This is going to make me so happy. So these guys are going to shoot each other. Alright, so the question is, where do I want to put Chen next round? Well, it's 2 turns, so let's block and heal. Yeah, we're gonna block the 2. If I was smart... This is a bit of a dilemma. So I can actually optimize this turn by shooting this thing, and they wind up killing each other next round. Nah, I'm gonna live with it. It's again, there's a better way to do this turn, but I'm just gonna live with my decisions. Oh god, you guys are describing really good nachos. Crunchy restaurant-style corn chips, spritz with lime, sharp cheddar, roux, baked cheese sauce with Kobe Jack and pepper jack, melted till smooth, pan-fried ground beef, seasoned, de-seeded jalapeno slices, and homemade tomatillo salsa. Johnny made nachos for work for Pyro when you told him... Oh, I didn't know that Pyro's in the same place. When he wanted nachos, he made them special for lunch. Big time nachos, he called them. Are you going to be going to EXP Melee Mage? And how you doing, Logan? Good to see you again. I was just so proud of myself for for finding a way to get these 2 guys to shoot at each other. Okay. This is going to take a little thought. Oh, no, it's not going to take that much thought. Punch this guy down. So, again, I want to maximize the XP that I can get out of this. So, Isabel will shoot down this guy. I don't think I've ever had nachos at EXP. And again, we got all of the goals, so that's so far a perfect run, but our luck will run out. I read a little bit of your paper, Logan, but I didn't read all of it. And I like Tom Sargent. Don't tell me his paper's old. His paper's timeless is what it is. Vec are not easily defeated, yet you put them down with flying colors. My compliments to the pilots. Alright. Oh, so we get one more mission. So I can either go for double reputation, or I can go for another power. I think another power would be... yeah, another power would be really good. So I just need to remember to stop the Vec from spawning. And again, the important thing to remember about stopping the Vec from spawning, you could do that with any unit. I didn't say I liked it. Riftwalkers, you picked up a time pod. Remember, grid first, then Vec, then secure the pod. Alright. So, best solution to this is going to involve me... Oh yeah, this is going to be devious. I'm just messing with you, Logan. So we're going to pound him to block. It'd be nice if... Oh, actually, I know how I can do this. So, we'll knock you back one. So now we get 2 blocks. And... yeah, we're in good shape. So I obviously didn't do as much damage as I could, but we're on our way to blocking the... We're on our way to achieving our block goal, and then we should be able to get some extra movement to get this time pod next round, so... Obviously they're going to do some damage to each other as well. Or actually no, they won't this time. Okay. Alright, I'm not crazy about using this to block, but I think that's my best option right now. There doesn't seem to be a way... There doesn't seem to be a way for me to get... Well... Like, the best solution for me is one that somehow gets an artillery shot down on here, but the problem is that as soon as I get them in a location, they're going to take damage from the creature rising, and then they're going to take damage from... Yeah, so this... If I move my artillery up here, they die, which is not the way to go. So we will kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We'll acquire the pod, and the rest of the turn is going to be spent figuring out how I can maximize the damage to... the baddies. And I might as well get my block in. I mean, I can repair, but it's not like it's gonna do anything. The nice thing is that they're not really threatening anything important, so... Okay, so my favorite solution is one that involves knocking this guy back. Tip for great homemade nacho cheese: make a roux with butter and flour, keep it blonde, then add ice cold milk slowly while stirring firmly. The milk being cold prevents clumping. Once you have a nice smooth roux sauce, stir in cheese. Johnny Big Time says, piggyback off that, make sure you keep the heat really low when you stir in the cheese. It will separate the milk solids and you wind up with a grainy sauce. Yeah, okay, I would definitely pay a very substantial sum of money to see an Eyes of Sin Johnny Big Time cooking program. Alright, so... I have no idea why I'm bothering to do this block, because it's, like, it's kind of pointless right now. I am going to wind up taking more damage from a rising enemy, but I'll live with that. And this guy only has 1 health, so... I can either take 1 damage in my tank, and knock this guy down one, or I can just run like a scared little girl and yeah, you know what? These things are meant to take some punching. Also, I know lots of brave little girls too. It's not to mean anything. Johnny is still a chef. Yeah, he's the once and future chef. And Melee Mage will dedicate a half a bottle of Jaeger for that. Oh yeah. Oh, I already punched, so it's just 1 damage that I take. It mystifies me why the Vec kill their own. Alright, can my artillery afford the damage? Okay, so here's my favorite solution to this. This guy shoots this guy. I'm mildly curious, so if I shoot my own guy, I wind up killing them, so that's not a workable solution. But I kill this thing. That's one for you. And I just gotta move this tank to safety. Repair is complete, Commander. Vec deleted. Cause of deletion. Rival Vec. The troops of Old Earth would have been proud if only they had been here to see it. So again, I'm just trying a few new things here as well. Like obviously there are some more elegant solutions which either I don't see or I'm trying a different approach. There's definitely some where I've realized after the fact that there's a better way to go about it, but I'm trying to reduce the number of resets that I do because I'm starting to turn that into a crutch. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how this island's gone. Johnny went to school for it. After school is where all the real learning happens, though, learning from men and women who have been doing it for years. They have so many awesome tricks and tips. I feel like it's that way in just about every profession. So, like, I know a bunch of stuff from, like, my economics textbooks and that, but, like, one empirical project with the guy who advised me on my undergraduate thesis is just amazing. My only real regret is that I did not pursue a PhD, and I think in my master's I could have done better than I did, because what he taught me was definitely above and beyond what I produced during my time there. But he planted a few seeds, which I'm hoping will turn into some interesting projects in about a year or so. So, all right, let's see what the pod had. Another reactor core. So good news there. Oh no! Okay, so I really like the dash. Alternative would be Buildings Immune, which Melee was talking about. I think I'm going to install it in my combat mech. So this is basically the most mobility that I can get for this mech, which I kind of like. +2 damage is a really strong bonus for this particular mech. Likewise, you know, again, if you can maximize damage, that's always a cool thing. But all right, corporate HQ, Vec threat detected. Destroy the Scion Abomination and protect the corporate tower. Some kind of Vec abomination is approaching our headquarters. Whatever it is, it must be stopped. So again, we want to kill this thing, and we want to stop this thing from taking damage. So, and I think this time I need to keep my artillery in the back, and again, that's just so that I have some options. I'm mostly going to be moving them. If you think of it here, right? It's the most... Yeah, so if I think about places that I'm going to need to deal with potential damage. It's like moving this guy, but he can't attack when he's in here. He's going to have to attack from here. So now this would be a great example of where Buildings Immune would be a good ability to have, because I could drop artillery fire on the building and knock the thing into the drink, but I don't have that option anymore because I used it to give my bigger mecha dash. But we'll see if it pays off. It's coming after us. Alright, that's gonna suck a bit. But... So I'm gonna start by protecting the building, and I know I'm gonna be able to get a kill off of that. So we'll knock him back one. The ideal, of course, would be to punch this guy again, but he's going to block one of his allies. So even though I get set on fire... Whoa! Never mind. Overpowered. The Scion Abomination is enhancing all Vec. They gain +1 HP renovate. Okay. I should have read that. Okay, so in this case, what I want to do is I actually want to maximize... Ah, this sucks. I want to maximize the damage that I do. Now the problem is if I fire on this guy, he winds up getting knocked right back to dealing the damage. So I'm going to move my tank back. Oh, but you know what? I get the movement afterwards, so... But it's still not worth the one shot, because he'll block somebody. Okay, I'm okay with that. Less okay with that. He's going to take 2 damage next round, unfortunately. So we'll knock... It's better to knock him 1 forward, I think. We'll knock him back because we're still not going to be able to knock him over the edge. And we'll set this guy on fire. And 3 turns, so I'm definitely going to need to heal this guy next round because he's going to take 2 damage, 1 from the fire, 1 from the block. Okay, that's a big problem. That's going to be a really big problem. Ooh. So, this is going to require some... This is definitely going to require some thought. So, in terms of objectives... So this guy has to heal this turn no matter what. Now, the way I'm thinking about this right now... is I drop artillery on him to dislodge these 2. So I'll take 1 damage to the buildings, but that's still my best option. Oh, but you know what? He's going to take the damage for blocking, and I already... I made a boo-boo. So this guy's gonna die no matter what. Don't tell me how to play the game, please. All right, so... So I think I can save my puncher. It's not so obvious that I can save... So the one problem that I have is how I avoid this thing doing the damage. Yeah, I don't think so too, Melee Mage. So like basically, the obvious move for saving the punchy... So like, the biggest thing is that the mechs are completely expendable. The worst that happens is your guy, like your pilot dies. So the problem that I have is that I'm gonna block something, and then there's two other sources of damage, which is a total of 3 damage. So what I probably should have thought about was whether or not it was worth it doing that heal, because what I likely would have been able to do is, well, to get this guy, say what? Yeah. So the smarter move for me would have been, I punch this thing so that I can move my guy out of the way. That would have freed up my artillery. Nah, my artillery still wouldn't have been able. Oh no, my artillery. No, my artillery couldn't have made it. So I was thinking if I could somehow get the artillery to move up here, they could have knocked this guy out of the way. But there's no way that the artillery would have been able to hit it. So, anyways, that's fine because I'll get enough. I'll get the corporate tower bonus. So the question is, do I want to take the damage to prevent somebody from spawning? Because I definitely have a bunch of things that are causing me a dilemma anyway. It's not obvious that this thing's still going to be... I think I'm going to move him out of the way just for security. Because he's got 2 health right now, so he can afford to take damage from something that binds him. This thing's going to burn to death already, but unfortunately I don't... Well, I mean, I could move this thing to prevent something from spawning. But I do kind of want to give this person experience, so... Well deserved, Officer Sanchez. I got them their level, so... Oh well, we had a good run of it anyway. Dispatching crews to see if any civilians can be helped. Oh man, they really want to get that guy. Okay. So sadly, the only way I can really deal with this guy is with the artillery, and the artillery is what's going to save this guy. So let's see. Okay, so I know I want the reputation. So I'm gonna knock the bug out of the way. Now the rest of the decision is how I deal with the rest of this. So my tank's going to give me... Oh, well, so I'm gonna handle this. There we go. I mean, I can move him if I want, but it's over. Yeah, well, especially too, because I'm gonna get 2 reputation. I think it's only gonna cost me like 1 to get the power. I don't know how it works. I've never had like power that high before, and I mean, chances are I'll be able to rescue the power off of a I'll be able to rescue the power off of a another island. With the Vek Abomination destroyed, no new hives should appear on our island. You've saved us. Sadly, 125 brave souls did not make it. Sorry guys, just give me 1 quick second. Part of this is food. I'm sure they were all terrible people, Johnny. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Okay, so bonus mech HP, which is really nice. You accomplished every archive mission, an astounding accomplishment. Please, you and your Riftwalkers accept this as thanks. So you get a free... Oh, cool. Perfect island. So I can get bonus... Okay. So... Grid defense is super cool. Excuse me. It winds up like... There's a probability whenever one of your... whenever one of your buildings gets hit, that it doesn't take damage. What's this other one? Knockoff boosters. Mechs gain +1 move. Yeah, so I use this quite a bit, but it really wasn't worth it. So, yeah, we'll overpower the grid. And that way I can spend the reputation. So basically, if my understanding of this overpowered grid, if your power grid is full when it receives additional power, the grid defense will be permanently upgraded. So the percentage chance a building will resist damage. Gain power when your power grid is full to upgrade its defense. Base defense 15, overpower bonus 2 of 25, pilot bonus +3. So if you think about it this way, it basically 1 in 5 attacks are going to 1 in 5 attacks are going to miss. So if you think about it, okay, so knockdown 1, 2, 3, 4. We get the 5th one for free, and then we get 3 more after that. So that's basically like getting an extra bar on the power grid. So let's spend our reputation. I can get more overpower grid, which might be cool. Astro Bombs, brute class weapon, leap over any distance, dropping a bomb on each tile you pass. That's a hell of an ability. Spartan! Shield. Prime class weapon, bash the enemy, flipping its attack direction. Oh, that's so cool. I still like the dash, because I use this thing as a high mobility. Smoke drop, don't care as much for that. Ah, good point, Melee Mage. Yeah, so... I don't know. I'm trying to think of like whenever I come up with like my expectations in terms of like effective HP, I usually try and come up with the most I don't know, the most pessimistic case. Okay, so actually what I can do here, so there's the Mercury Fist, smash the ground, dealing huge damage and pushing adjacent tiles. So this is like giving my mech rotation. So the nice thing about this too is because it's 1 reputation and I can sell the Titan Fist for it. Oh, but it's +1 use. So now I think I'm gonna go without the gear. I think we're just gonna buy up the reactor cores, and the question is, do I want to save the reputation for? I kind of like the idea. I really like the idea of powering up the grid defense. So I think I'm okay with these for now. So I can get the +1 damage right now for 2 damage, or I can get my buildings immune finally. I think I will install the 1 because I do like buildings immune. And actually, you know what? We'll give it the extra health as well. Because again, this thing gets ridiculous when you can drop 2 damage on things. All right. I think I'm just gonna do the normal path that I did before. So we're gonna go to RST. Next thing I'm gonna do is Pinnacle Robotics, and then after that we'll do the end, because I'm just, you know, again, I'm knocking out like a 3-island win, and then we'll go for a 4-island win. RST Corporation Head Office. You won't find me as gullible as my department heads. Whatever time traveler nonsense you claim, it's your firepower we need. Alright, so we can go to the Blast Garden or restricted areas. High threat detected. Defend the terraformer. Terraform the grassland back to desert. I have no idea how that works. And protect the robotics lab. You know what? Let's go. As awesome as it would be to get more power and boost up that grid defense, it's time that I learn how this works. So we need to activate one of our terraformers to destroy a Vec hive beneath the surface. Okay, so it looks like that's granting extra... Oh, nope, that's granting extra health. This is gonna be character building, I think. And yeah, why not? You know what? That gives me a little more access in terms of columns. Look, the Riftwalkers, the mechs are here. Hostiles detected. Ah! Oh my god. Okay, this sucks. Terraformer. This terraformer unit is under your control during the mission. Use it to turn grass tiles into sand tiles. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so now we just need to deal with this mofo. Well, doesn't that suck? Okay, I gotta think a little bit. Okay, so one of these. One of these. Ah! So I'm still gonna take that grid damage, unfortunately. Or can I stop this horribleness from? No, I don't think I can stop. Well, no, because that's gonna hit the mountain no matter what. So I'll defend the terraformer. Hey, we've got a Jesse Quill raid. We only had one backseater so far, so your services are no longer required. That's not true at all. We have got Jesse Quill, Logan Pope, Power Source X3, Jormungandr 1, Sparks 5, and Belaster 1. Welcome to you all. Thank you very much for stopping by. I'm System Chalk, and I'm an incredible individual with green eyes and magnificent sexual charisma. How are you tonight? I'm going to do some shouting of the outs. But only after I make some decisions. All right, guys. I also need to do some like I said, I need to do some shout-outs. You're salty on the last level of the thing? Get good. So, let's take a minute and shout some people out. We started this evening with a host from the Eyes of Sin. I, of course, will introduce you all to Jesse Quill, but I got to do these things in the right order because I usually wait for a little bit of an audience. But the Eyes of Sin started off with a strong host at the start. She's somebody I always like telling the story about how I first ran into her on cast. She's somebody who's really friendly, who sort of stopped by during a charity cast that Jess and I were working on. And, you know, just somebody who's really active during the charity cast, really positive member of the community, and a moderator. So I found out that she was going to be casting after a while, and I thought it was like, oh, okay, you know, I'm going to help this first-time caster by being present in there. You know, that my incredibly arrogant, you know, thought. So hey, Scientist Thoth. So yeah, you know, I'm just thinking to myself, like, I'm going to do some charity work for this smaller streamer, and then I come in, and then she's got like mildly famous game developers who visited. There's like a ton of people. There's like bigger casters coming in, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, you know, I can now shut the fuck up. But what was great is it was really easy to see why all of these people showed up there. She's a very nice person. She's got a very relaxed atmosphere in her cast. She's quite a talented artist. But she was playing Pokemon, which was quite rewarding to watch. She really did a good job of explaining what that game meant to her. Again, I like to point out her artistic skills, which, I mean, she certainly does things that I wish I could do. And I think one of the things that really struck me is that I think she's just very naturally, I guess I'll just say, like, curious. Like, she's interested in things, and it translates into, it does translate into, how do I put this? Like what she talks about on cast and the sorts of things that she shares are interesting because she is interested in them. And so she's going to be doing some moving. Unfortunately, that means that there won't be as many casts, but it is somebody who I strongly recommend following because when she does start casting again, you will see exactly why I'm taking the time to shout her out. We also had Johnny Big Time who came in. Now, Johnny Big Time is one of the few people who I'll bother watch playing Fortnite. In fact, he's somebody who could play anything, and I will be having the time of my life because Johnny has got an absolutely amazing camera presence. He's got a great wit. He's a really friendly guy, a really funny guy, and he's actually one of the few people who I would recommend watching because of his skill at games. Obviously, the highlights that I give of him are ones where usually something's gone wrong. So I can't say who this person is because this is not necessarily going to reflect very well on them. But Jess and I know of an individual who, when I was playing Soma, like, this is somebody who we know kind of deep down had a very high respect for me in terms of just kind of the way that I talk and the subjects that I cover. But what was really interesting is, so that they could sort of take on the mantle of the smart guy, every time I would make a mistake, whenever they would highlight or whenever they would talk about things, it would always be System Chalk screws up ... And it was really transparent. Like, the effort is like by dragging me down, they would exalt themselves. Now, I try not to do that when I'm clipping Johnny's stuff, but one of the things that I love the most about Johnny is that he will always have a good attitude playing the game. He always has something clever to say, and even if he's getting really frustrated with the game, like, he finds a way of just making it being one of the most fun things that you can watch. He's got an amazing talent for doing that, and like I honestly don't know how he does it, to be completely honest with you. But it's something that I'm always I'm really impressed by, and it's something that I wish I'd be able to do. One of my favorite playthroughs of his was XCOM, so I am desperately trying to get him to do XCOM 2, or even XCOM Enemy Within. I think he'd do a really good job casting this game, because this is like tiny XCOM. But he's a really fantastic guy, and again, whether he's playing Fortnite or whether he's playing a game which like I love, something like XCOM, he does an amazing job. I will also mention we briefly played Stellaris together, and I think one of the things that really struck me is that when I say he's good at games, like he naturally takes to games very easily. Like, I don't know if he felt like he was very comfortable in Stellaris, but he adopted the conventions of that game very quickly. So he just seems to have like just this natural talent for picking up games and understanding their systems really, really well. And finally, last but not least, we've got Jessie Quill, somebody who over doubled my viewer count just simply by hosting me. She's the person who gave me the first bit of feedback that I ever got on Twitch, and somebody who is for some reason still hung around. Probably my green eyes and sexual charisma. But no, she's an absolutely wonderful woman. The majority of you already know what she's like. She's somebody who encouraged me to sort of reach out to developers to get some keys, which led to some, some great relationships for which, we're seeing the benefits of now in terms of things like getting a GOG key. She's just done a really amazing job of giving me encouragement. In fact, giving a lot of different streamers encouragement. She's one of the most giving people that I know on a platform where a lot of people still think of it in terms of like a zero-sum game. The level of generosity that she's shown, the level of care that she's shown is always incredible. And she's somebody who does a great job with story-based games and talking about sort of the themes and motivations behind games. Whether it's Cultist Simulator, whether it's The Thing, whether it's The Last of Us, she just has something to say. She has value to add for every game that she plays. And honestly, I think she's in a case, she's definitely one of the people who I think it's very easy to take a lot of, I think it's really easy to take a lot of things on Twitch for granted, a lot of quality for granted. But Jess is really one of these people who has made channels better for her presence, and I don't know if people always realize the effect that she's had on them. I hope you guys do realize that in my own cast, because a lot of times I would not be casting if it weren't for her. Anyways, you had no idea what you were doing the whole time. You did quite well. I mean, I know I'm a pain in the ass. Jess can tell you how much of a pain of it in the ass I am about Stellaris. But you genuinely did quite well in that, Johnny Big Time. So anyways, this is Into the Breach. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them in chat. I'll try and give voice to what's going on right now. The only thing that I can hope for right now is that this Alpha Centipede, the only thing I can really hope about this right now is that the Alpha Centipede's attack is going to trigger my 24% grid defense. So basically I've got a 1 in 4 chance that this thing doesn't wind up taking damage. I don't really have high hopes for it, but I made my decision, so we'll lock in the turn and see what happens. Oh yeah! Structure is unharmed. That's a mistake is what that is, Jess. All right, so this is a pretty easy round. So one of the most important things to remember, I don't think the corrosion will affect this. Thank you so much for that resub, Jess. You're extremely kind. And the bits, thank you. Oh yeah, guys, it shows you how much I'm taking this for granted. Eyes of Sid is the one responsible for these emotes, so if you guys like these, pay for them. But no, the Eyes of Sin was responsible for those, so thank you, Jess. All right, so again, this game's... The best way I could describe the mechanics of this game is imagine if in XCOM, the aliens announced what their moves were, and then you could respond to them. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing here. So what I want to do, this is one of my goals. I need to protect the robotics lab, and I get a pretty good, reward for it. So I want to take care of that if I can. I also have, so it's just corrosive vomit. So I have a few ideas about how I'm going to handle this turn. For instance, my Terraformer, I can kill all life in that 6-tile sort of area. Good news, but I don't want to kill my tank. So I'm going to back out. I'm going to move my tank over here. It's already got bonus health, which is good. One of the problems is that this guy basically, or, well, let me think a little bit about this. So if I knock this guy forward, then he winds up doing damage. Yeah, I've got a smarter idea, actually. So first thing I'm going to do, we're going to knock this guy forward. I got to think about this. Nope, I think I can still make this work, so this guy's going to wind up taking damage, but I'm knocking him forward, so now there's the damage going on here, not on this goal. The next thing I want to do is move this guy out of the way. Now that's a bit of bad luck for me, because I thought I'd be able to move him here. But I can't, so that's fine. We'll still be able to fix this. So I get rid of the Angry Centipede. And what's the order in which these things happen? All right, so this guy moves. Yeah, this is exactly what I want. Oh no, I'm gonna kill this thing. All right, well, doesn't matter much. So again, we protected the things we needed to. Some of my units are going to take damage for sure, but it's not a concern at all. So this guy has an action available, but I don't want to shoot any of my stuff. So okay. So looks like all the action's gonna be happening. Okay, well, I still want to convert all the grasslands, so Sparks5, thank you very much for the 7 bits. Alright, so the rest of this turn is basically me deciding what I want to do with my life. In a perfect world, I would be blocking mofos. But I don't think it's going to work that way, so so basically, the remaining units are just going to heal up. We got 2 more turns. And now the drawback is that I'm going to use my terraforming for this area up here. So it's I'm not going to get any of those cheap little attacks. I'm going to have 3 new guys to deal with. But again, this team should be able to handle whatever's coming up. So we will now end the turn. Got more Vec threatening the grid. All right. Oh, well, this guy just signed his death warrant. Alright, this is going to be a bit of a pain to deal with, but I should be able to handle it. First things first. Alright, what are you doing? Oh, you're attacking this guy. Okay. You know what? We should be able to wipe everyone out. So, one of these. One of these. Tactical algorithms upgraded. And this guy should be able to... Alright, so we wiped everyone out, protected the robotics lab, defended the terraformer, and we got lucky with our 24%, so... That threat in the region has been eradicated. Terraformer is secure, and our sensors report no activity from the Vec below the surface. The region is ours. So I think the premise of the game is fairly apparent, right? View skills unlock 2 mech HP. I'm just going to take a minute to chow down on more nacho. It's not so much a nacho as it is a big glob of like everything now, but that's fine. Actually, this is a pretty good corn chip with a whole bunch of stuff on it. So excuse me, chat. I'm going to indulge, and you're going to have to hear me. Scientist Sloth, really easily. I beat this game on the second time I played it. It gives you a tutorial, but basically, if you... the game gives you a tooltip every time a new concept is introduced. It's a very, very straightforward game. The complexity just comes from all the different scenarios that come up. Okay. No problem. I know I'm going to sound like a total shill. If you are thinking of getting this game, GOG was the one to give me a key for this. I am affiliated with them. Also, I know you came from Jessie Quill's chat, so if you'd like to support Jessie Quill, you can use her affiliate link as well. Either way, GOG is the only reason I'm playing this game right now, so if you'd like a DRM-free copy, it's the same one as Steam, just you don't have the DRM. Feel free to use that or Jess's equivalent link. If not, I mean, I completely understand. My intention is not to guilt anyone into doing that, but for any of you guys who are interested in this game and want to pick it up, I feel at the very least, well, one, I mean, it does help me out, I won't lie. But another big thing about it is that if you can, obviously if you know, the reason why they give me these sorts of things are because, you know, presumably I play these games reasonably well and hopefully I can drive a little bit of traffic to them. So it helps me financially, but more importantly, it's acknowledging the fact that there is a certain faith that they gave me in terms of giving these keys. Because like everybody wanted to play this game. Like the promo keys for this thing were gone in like minutes. Melee Mage got a free blender noise when you bought it. Yes, that's true. All right, RST Quake Fence. Let's go for another. So you're saying that this is a paid advertisement? Probably not exactly. Does some dispute? I know the FTC has certain rules along these lines. I think the biggest thing is that I want to disclose any interest that I have when I bring up that. So the part I would need to disclose, of course, is that if I'm using this affiliate link on the GOG website. That's an interest that I should explain. So I'm promoting that particular link because I get extra revenues from it. Obviously, I am probably going to have to explain to the individual who gave me this key when they said, "Is like, hi, you said that you were going to stream Into the Breach when I gave you this key, and you have not streamed Into the Breach yet." But I was the one to request it from them. I'm not entirely... Like, they're definitely not giving me money. They did give me a game for it, so... I mean, I also would have streamed this thing on my own anyway, but... the fact that I was given a key on release as opposed to going out and buying it meant the difference that I'm playing it on release week, which matters the most, rather than playing it down the road when it winds up in a Humble Bundle or something like that. No, that's totally fine, Duncan Spute, but this is the funny thing, is that I think most people, Jess actually got to experience this. A lot of people are really willing to just throw around the hashtag ad like they know what it means. I definitely thought for a while about the kind of partnerships that I took up when streaming, because it's tough, right? Like, some people will be like, you know, oh, well, if you use Audible, you'll get, you know, you'll make yourself smarter. I mean, this is an easy, like, I could very naturally do an Audible promotion and say, it's like, do you want to be smart like me? Listen to Audible. Well, I don't know if Audible's going to make you smarter. I don't know what books you're going to listen to. It might be a terrible thing for you. But GOG is a platform that I really like. It's a very unobtrusive way to drive a little traffic to their site. I personally like getting stuff on GOG. I know a lot of people gift stuff on Steam, and I'm always grateful to get gifts. But the biggest thing is I don't think a lot of people talk nearly as much about what their interests and what their partnerships are. And I think one of the biggest things is I like to acknowledge where people have helped me out or where people have given me a key or whatever. Obviously, a lot of the Paradox streams are now a result of me getting a key from them. And one, it's to acknowledge the fact that they put a little bit of faith in me. And then number two, I think I owe it to you guys. So actually, even if it's in jest, I actually like the fact that I have an opportunity to talk about this stuff. Because again, I think it's important to be transparent. So, did it really cost you more, Duckinspute? You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate it. If enough of you spy the game, maybe you can convince him to do a slow motion social eating stream. You didn't know GOG did that in terms of the promotion thing or in terms of giving me a key, Scientist Sloth? I usually get my stuff cheaper on GOG, but then that's also because of the... I usually have foreign exchange problems. So make sure the supply train reaches the extraction point. We can take it from there. This is going to be a pretty tough one, actually. Even aside from the high threat detected, the train has a tendency to crash into things. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, this is a big thing. So, I mean, it's a little late now, but yeah, guys, please don't act against your interests in terms of supporting the cast. Obviously, the easiest, most direct way to support the cast is to just give me the money. But like, if it's cheaper for you to buy it somewhere else, so like for instance, there's a Sega sale going on the Humble Store. So clearly, if that's cheaper for you, do that. Like any revenues I get from a GOG link are going to be less than, you know, I'm pretty sure I'll get less than the $1.28, $14.99 US converted to 19 something. Oh, but no, I 100%. Wait a minute, Duck. You should be able to get Canadian currency on GOG though. I don't know. Anyways, thank you. I will not go into the vagaries of international currency. I do appreciate you supporting, supporting GOG, because it is a platform that I'm fond of, but number two, supporting me. So thank you. All right, let's drop this stuff down. You got a copy of FTL, which you didn't have on PC. Oh, FTL is fantastic. Oh yeah, but if you're saying you don't have it on PC, then that means you already have it. So yeah, I like FTL a lot. Actually, that's one thing I keep forgetting to mention in my little GOG spiel, because the fact that you get FTL is a meaningful bonus. Oh my god! Ah! Oh, this sucks. Jesus Christ. I couldn't have asked for a worse start. Okay, I'm a little curious what happens when... Okay, so it hits the edge. It's going to wind up doing some damage to something important. I knew I should have moved the artillery back one. Okay, that thing hits like a truck. The Alpha Hornet. Okay, well, I mean, I have to deal with this, so. No, but I also need to deal with this crap. Yeah, you know what? This is just going to be a bunch of failed objectives. Oh, no. Again, I wind up taking totally unnecessary damage here, but... Okay. Again, we potentially lose one power, but as long as I protect the coal plant, we'll get that back. So it's going to be less grid defense rather than... the cost to us is going to be less grid defense rather than what we originally would have got, so I can live with that. Oh, I'm so lucky. There's just so many threats. The Eyes of Sin cheered 300 bits. You can also support the stream directly by showering him with bits. Just imagine you're at a strip club, but instead of getting to see some skin, you're treating to oh so saucy, insightful commentary. Wow, the Eyes of Sin. You're also forgetting my special voices that I do sometimes. How the fuck do I deal with this guy? How much damage does this thing do? It's like 1, I think. So I'm gonna hit him with one of these.
I would never want to belong.
Ah, here we go.
That would have someone like me for a member.
Oh crap. So I can kill him, but that's not what I want to do. I actually want to knock him back 1. So that's gonna... Oh, it's just shy of what I needed. I didn't think that through properly. And then finally Isabel will protect the city. So again, I'm trying to minimize the damage that happens to... I'm trying to minimize the damage that happens to my my important things. This guy is going to take a lot of damage. I'm probably going to need to repair him next turn, unfortunately, but we'll see how it goes. What I should have done instead, I originally wanted it to be so that this guy would spike this guy, and I miscalculated the distance. So what I should have done was I should have killed it with the artillery hit, because this thing hits like a truck now. I built it that way. But I wasn't thinking properly, so... Anyways, end the turn. So, acid. This unit is inflicted with acid. Its defense is corroded. Incoming weapon damage will be doubled. All other damage, push fire blocking is unaffected. So, the defense in this case is important. Well, that or not taking damage. Alright, that sucks. That really sucks. That, like, quadruple sucks. Alright, this is just a whole bunch of awful is what this is. Okay, so if I move this guy... Oh. Yeah, sadly I'm going to wind up taking 2 power damage on this, I think. So my main priorities in terms of actually, okay, let me think a bit about this. So if I defend the coal plant, I get 1 energy back. If I don't defend the train, then I don't get the reputation. So I'm pretty sure this guy does 2... Yeah, he does 2 damage. So I kind of want to be sure I knock this guy out of the way. Yeah, I think this is PC only right now. Oh, you know what I can do? Okay, so if I move this guy, I can repair, and then I can move... Well, no, he's gonna... Okay. He falls on his sword, but I still need to deal with this guy. Okay, so what I need to think about are my priorities in terms of preventing damage. So, this is a tricky one. Who attacks first? This guy. Crap. Because I was thinking if there's a way I can knock this guy back. Well, hang on. So if I can find a way to knock this guy back... Yeah, I need to think about the ways to minimize the amount of damage that these will take. So this guy will do 2 damage to this. I 100% need to block or exterminate this guy. Now I can do that with my artillery mech, who does... it should list it. 3 damage. So the good news is basically my artillery mech can do 3 damage to any of these guys. So it'll eliminate that threat, but unfortunately that still leaves this guy open. I think I'm just going to have to accept that the train is going to... So the train will get me 2... The train will get me 2 influence. Or reputation or whatever. I shoot this guy with the tank. Okay, actually let me think a little bit about how this works. So I shoot this guy with the tank. These 2 do 1 damage to each other. Oh, so, okay, yeah, so 1 damage from the tank, 1 damage knocking into him. I drop artillery, which is a guarantee kill on that thing. 1 damage, which kills this, but not enough to kill this. Which means I need to use this mech, which means this takes damage and this takes damage. Alternative path, I run this guy up, neutralize him with the blast. Still need to do enough damage with him. Okay, so instead... I can't reach him anyway. That sucks, because I created a dust cloud here. So my only other option would be to find some way of knocking this guy out of the way. But if I knock him out of the way, it makes as much sense to just kill him completely. I'm not thinking straight at the moment, so this goes up. 2 damage. Bomb, 1 damage. 1 damage. Just see how this works. Okay, 1 damage each. Artillery comes in. I lose the 2 damage and then the 1 reputation. Is that how I want to do this? Alternative. Move this one up. This guy eliminates this. This guy bombs them. This thing moves out of the way, so now I need to deal with the damage it does to this. This guy needs to take it out. Okay. Well, I'll get to reset the turn if I don't do it sensibly. Oh, it canceled the attack. I'm gonna need to think about whether or not I want to reset the... One way or the other, there's 2 damage that happens, so... Yeah, I couldn't have prevented. All right, yeah, I can live with this. Guess I'll move him up. Yeah, not surprising. All right, not a great finish, but we're dispatching teams to the train now. The priority is to get it running. So ultimately, that translates to a one power loss, which we'll recover. So this is basically a wash in terms of overall power, and the reason for that is I can use the 1 reputation for the power grid. So not my best run. I can do Detonation Park to try and restore my power grid. I can try Razor Bay to kill these 7 enemies and protect them. You know what? Let's try Detonation Park. The Vec took out this region's ground stabilizer. We're not sure what the result will be. Watch your step. Okay, so we'll learn our lesson this time, and we will put the artillery in the back row. These guys are particularly bad for snaring up my people. Remember, if the grid fails, the battle is over. Okay, these guys cause me a lot of grief. So, let's think priority number 1, dealing with damage to buildings. This thing drops acid, right? Yeah. So he's going to wind up taking extra damage for a while. I like this plan. Okay, but what I'm going to do instead, so artillery goes over, wipes him out. That frees up my tank. Yeah, this is easy. I don't know why I didn't think of this before, so free kill here. You stay away from my mom. And nobody's standing on a cataclysm, right? Yeah. So of course there's going to be 2 enemies that spawn. That's not so good for me, but we outnumber them, so. Watch your fire, Rift Walkers, and watch the ground. Alright, another one of these SOBs. Okay. Well. This is going to be slightly counterintuitive what I do. It's going to move. Yeah, so move this guy up. Oops, let's undo that. So what I'd prefer to do is start with an artillery shot on him, but that's going to do 3 damage and then it's going to knock him back. You know what? Let's not get too clever. So the only reason I did that move was because I knew I'd be able to get away from the Cataclysm. Earthquake warning. So we only have 1 enemy to deal with, which is good. Okay, well that's easy to it's easy to deal with. I was wondering if there is a way. This might be more in line with what I want to accomplish. So why did I do that? Well, because now I can heal up. And we'll be ready to take on whatever emerges. Got more Vect threatening the grid. Now this is going to be a bit of a... It's going to be a bit of a conundrum. No, it's not. Unfortunately, there's no way that I can soften this guy up with my fists. So where I can, I am trying to get a little bit more extra experience for these other 2 pilots. Your thoroughness in the battlefield and battlefield sanitation is appreciated. Sweeper teams report no Vec survived. I think 1 more before a boss, so I can go. I can go for like full reputation, which I think is definitely a good long-term one. I mean, grid defense has really been saving me on this. I really don't like the idea of half measures. So this will give me 6, which will get me 2 power cores, plus whatever I get off of the final mission. And Cataclysm. So the only thing is that I don't know if I can do it with less than 4 mech damage, but... Ow! Fuck! Sorry, I just hit my funny bone. Sorry, I'm a lot more sweary tonight. Alright, you know what? I'll knock on the turbine cluster. The cataclysmic failure of a terraformer in the region is destroying the land. Try not to fall into the depths. Well, thanks, lady. End the battle with less than 4 mech damage, and we need to protect the old Earth bar. Jesus. Okay, so this is probably going to be like a tidal wave. This guy is such a pain in the ass, and that thing's going to be a pain in the ass too, but fortunately I have artillery to deal with it, so... And they gave me a pod. Why the fuck not? Okay. So one of those pods might be someone inside. Oh my god, why do you do this to me, game? Well, okay, actually this is not so bad, so... Fire! Oh, but that sucks. No, it doesn't. And now I sidestep. And I think I want to move him. I can move him forward. I can move. You know what? Let's knock him back. So it'd be cool if I can get somebody to block these things, but I'm feeling reasonably confident after that round. So, yeah, I'm okay with that. Ooh. I think we lose the time pod to the Cataclysm. Because there's no friggin' way I'm going to be able to get this guy. Yeah. So I either lose my tank or I lose the time pod, but frankly I don't think either one is worth it. Oh, fuck. The hell is this guy shooting at again? Yeah, this looks like just a whole bunch of awful. There's no way that I can get this thing to... So basically I have two things that are attacking... Three things that are attacking this. Yeah, so they're focusing down the power here. So what does the most damage is probably the most... Okay, they're all 1 damage, so... extra damage to Acid Bro, who's not really gonna be a factor in this. Unfortunately, there's... Ah! I didn't think he was gonna get knocked over the edge. Okay, cool. So that clears everything up. Sadly, we don't get the time pod, but... No! Careless. Thanks, Jessica. Destroyed time pods. The time pod on this tile has been destroyed. Time pods are destroyed by taking damage or by any enemy standing on it. Okay, so obviously I need to get Isabelle out of here. Oh god, of course they would. But I learned something cool today. And again, because I want my artillery to learn the most, I can't believe it. Alright, so again, not a perfect mission, but I don't think... I mean, I wasn't expecting the Cataclysm to be something that would affect the time pod, so I'm sure if I knew it at the time, it would have been... you know, I would have planned a little differently, but again, we retained our grid defense and we got our 2 reputations, so I'm happy with that. Okay. The repair teams report barely a scratch on your mechs. Efficiently done. We can reallocate the damage control teams to civilian relief and city protection. And should be boss time. No! Okay. Mech threat detected. We need to destroy the Firefly leader and protect the corporate tower. Easy peasy. Oh my god! These things love ruining my day. I'm gonna regret doing this. Awful. Oh, actually, so there's a clever move I can do here. So we'll move him up, fire you here. So Firefly leader does 4 damage to his buddy. I think artillery is the best way I'm going to handle this, so... Now let's see if I can get a dash attack in. Oh, yes I can. I feel good about myself. This is one of the things I like the most about the game is it seems like it's going to be hopeless and then you realize, oh, hang on, I can do, you know, X. Of course you would. Okay, so the way that I can neutralize the Firefly in this case would be punching it into the water. It's not going to kill it, but what it is going to do is it's going to stop it from being able to. It's going to stop it from being able to hit the. It's going to stop it from being able to hit the tower. Now, what does the Alpha Leader do? Alpha Leader does enough damage to kill my mech, which is a problem. So I'm going to reimagine the problem. Now I get to decide. Okay, so I think we'll just we'll end this guy. Did not realize this guy does so much damage, and unfortunately I don't have any good way of dealing with. I don't have any good way of dealing with what he does. So I'll just move up and wait. We've got three turns of this nonsense. I need to be really careful about this guy, but again, my artillery should be enough to solve that problem. Actually, if he but he shouldn't be able to jump and take my artillery. So unless he if he jumps and takes my artillery here, this could be bad. I just don't know what their movement looks like. All right, we'll see how it goes. All right, he's probably gonna. Oh wow, he wants that guy bad. Okay. So we'll move up. They lose their bonus health. 1 health, 3 health. So unfortunately I don't get to do bonus damage for hitting him. So I think probably it's better that we neutralize something that does 5 damage. This guy's going to take 1 damage. This should be easy to clean up. We're only going to have 2 things to worry about, and it's the last turn. So you try and service now, Vec. Alright, so again, unfortunate, but this is a very easy turn to deal with. So ideally, my support units are the one to get all the kills, because this person already has max experience. No Vec on the sensors. Good job, Rift Walkers. I must admit, it was an impressive performance. We'll rest easier knowing that the Vec monstrosity no longer infests our island. Alright, region secured, so we'll spend our reputation. I can get a Vice Fist, grab the unit and toss it behind you for 1 damage. Targeted strike, call in an airstrike on a single tile anywhere on the map. So I get 1 of those per turn. It's basically a free 1 damage artillery shot. Light tank, any class weapon, deploy a small tank to help in combat, use per battle 1. Explosive vents, blast all adjacent tiles. I mean, again, I love using that thing as a brawler, but I think we're just gonna get the reactor cores and pump up our defense grid. Okay, so I have 2 cores. I can do an additional... So I can do another building's immune, which is a good defensive move. But I think I'm going to go... Yeah, I'm going to go for the additional damage on my route. So everything does 3 damage now. And we will visit Pinnacle Robotics for the first time. Pinnacle Robotics fights a war on 2 fronts. One against the Vec, the other against its own sentient weapons. Now, again, if I wanted to go to the last mission, I could go to the Volcanic Hive, but I'm going to be going for a 3-island victory this time. So we're going to go here, and then we're going to go here. Pinnacle Robotics head office. On behalf of Pinnacle, I welcome you. The climate on our island isn't ideal for humans, but the low temperatures are vital for the machine life to survive. To thrive. Okay, so shielded vaults, high threat detected, freeze and defend both robots, and protect the defense lab. Protect the power generator, block Vec from spawning 3 times, and protect the coal plant. Okay, so let me think about my path through the island. If I could do shielded vaults, I'm gonna wind up doing this no matter what. So I think I'm gonna do shielded vaults just because District Z 1001 is gonna make me decide whether or not I need any more power. So let's try the hard one first. These machines are not currently themselves. Look past their malfunctioning aggression and see them as living beings. Okay. This is tough to maneuver. So I'm assuming this thing does the freezing, but... Oh, Christ. Civilian building. Oh my god. Okay. So I can definitely freeze this thing. That's not a problem. This only has 1 health, so I can't shoot it, unfortunately. Can't. This unit is frozen, it cannot move or attack, and it will remain frozen until it takes damage. Okay. Oh, I should have reset, so... No, but if I shot that, it would do damage to this building, so that was still the right call. This thing winds up taking damage by how much from the 3 damage from the Alpha Firefly, unless my defenses kick in. Again, I can't damage this. Oh Christ, yeah. Okay, so well, okay, so what does this thing give as a passive bonus? All other Vec will explode on death. Yeah, I gotta deal with that, so. And sadly, there's no good solution to what's going on here. So I don't particularly want to set myself on fire right now. So I can take a crap load of damage, or I can prepare for the next turn. You know what, this is a dumb decision overall, because what I'm doing is I'm moving this thing out of the way to prevent 1 damage, when what I should be doing is stopping the 2 damage from happening. But then I'm not entirely sure how I do that, so... Well, I made my decisions, I have to live with them. They're not the best ones, but... So, the question is, do I want to do 2 damage to this thing in exchange for this guy taking 3 damage, or do I want to run away? I don't think I want to run away, I think I'll take my lumps and do some damage. I can always run away after the fact. Not my favorite turn, to be honest, but... I mean, I can reset it, but I'm sure there's going to be other horrible stuff that happens to us, so... Jesus, I am really... getting lucky. Alright. I am so disappointed that I'm not able to make it to this thing. I can end this with... Okay, so I'm mildly curious. So if I move up like this and I drop it on this guy, he... Elkanu, thank you very much for that host. Okay, I want to see if this actually damages the robot. Ooh, yeah, we're resetting off of that. I wish it explained how that mechanic worked better. Yeah, not a problem at all, Elkanu. Thank you very much for that host. Well, were you playing Dark Souls tonight? I know you were the other night. Oh god, and this thing winds up. Okay, so... Actually, you know what? I should reconsider this. Because I can refreeze him as well as to... you know what? I should have stuck with that move. Oh no! Again, I am betrayed. And I didn't think this through at all. How the hell am I gonna freeze this thing if this is all the way over here? What was I thinking? It's still worth it.
I would never want to.
FF Steven, thank you very much for following. Oh, it's Thursdays. I think I saw a tweet where you said you were going to be playing Cuphead soon as well. For those of you who don't know him, Elkanu is a French streamer. Definitely a very good friend of the cast. I don't get to see his cast as often as I used to. I really do like watching his Dark Souls stuff though. And when I do catch him, I'm usually either at work or otherwise, like I'm usually on my mobile. So I used to practice my French there, and I have lost my ability to practice my French. But one of the things I like the most about Elkanu is that he does a really good job of showing you what is good in a game. Even if he's playing a game that might be a little rough around the edges, he does a fantastic job of really finding those things that are important about the game and really explaining them. So even if you don't speak French, he's a wonderful caster to watch. There's a lot of fun to be had watching his stuff. And even though, again, I've not been as active in his chat recently as I used to be, he's been really great at still sort of showing up, still giving hosts, and I definitely appreciate that. So you started Cuphead, but only from time to time. Okay, excellent. I am not really impressing anyone with my my abilities right now. All right, we'll end the turn. So, I mean, if this doesn't, yeah, okay. We got very lucky in terms of not dying to those, so... Alright, I don't think I'm going to be able to freeze this guy, but he is... Alright, so this guy's going to break the ice, which is not great for me, but I can punch him. Alright, so I know how I'm handling this. We'll knock this guy out of the way, so that'll neutralize his damage. Next thing I gotta do is find something to do with my tank, preferably outside of the danger zone. I think I'm just gonna have to repair this round with him, but let's see what I can do with this guy first. So I can put him into the fire, which is a bad idea. So we'll deal with that. We'll repair, and we'll see what's the most I can do with my artillery right now. So I can, if this will knock him into the ice, so that's not good. This would take him out. So with this, I prefer. Oop, I blew it. Okay, not quite far enough. So, and see if I shoot on this thing, it's gonna knock him into the... Well, this thing only does 1 damage, right? Yeah. Oh, no, actually there's a better move I can do here, which is to knock these guys into the path of the attack, so... That's what I'm doing. And I believe next turn I should be able to... this is a fairly central position, so we should be able to freeze the robot. Is it? I'm not sure. It only seems like I can only do 2... I mean, obviously here I can only do the 2. I didn't think it could go across the map. If it could, that was a blunder on my part, but we'll see how it goes. Alright. Well, this is just all kinds of crappy. I gotta think a little bit about how I'm gonna handle this. So, this is the most important thing for me to defend. Honestly, I think throwing a body in front of it is the best way, but it's not clear to me how I'm actually going to free up all this space. Okay, so if I drop an artillery on this... If I drop an artillery on this, this one takes damage. And I really need to think this through. Okay, so an artillery here moves it in the way of this guy, but he winds up doing damage here. He dies. This guy can go in, he'll do 2 damage, but that'll free this thing up to do the damage here, so that doesn't wind up working. How do I get this guy into the... Okay, so I move him here, shoot this guy down. Okay, so if I shoot this guy down, this thing dies as well. What do I do about him? I don't think there's a way I get the defense lab protected. Unless I get really lucky with my grid defense rolls. I also have to freeze the bot this round. Okay, so shoot this, I clear out these 2, I can punch this one forward. Wait a minute, so what if there's a way that I can clear... Okay, so I shoot these things here, I shoot this thing clear, it still blocks this guy so he's not able to step in. Wait a minute. Okay, so then I artillery bomb this. This guy gets cleared out. This thing moves down one. But then I still have two guys attacking. Although, well, okay, there's a way this might work. I'm gonna lose, well, I lose a lot of power doing this, but it's probabilistic damage. Okay, so artillery down here. This guy dies. This guy moves down. I punch this guy to the side. Hang on. Okay, so he moves. Unfortunately, he moves after this guy. So I can punch him to the side, but moving in the way of this is useless. Well, I actually don't even see myself. I don't see any path where I protect the lab, but that's the move. I think the best I can hope for is to reduce it down to a single, single attack on it. So at least what this does is it reduces it down to one attack, so I've got a 28% chance that this doesn't that this doesn't get destroyed. I think, honestly, the better call would have been to lose the reputation, because it costs me 3 to buy 1 core. But again, there's a probability that this thing doesn't get lost. We've been pretty lucky so far, so I don't think it'll work. Yeah. Oh well. Had a pretty good run so far, so thank you for protecting the sentient life. I'm sure we'll be able to restore their programming. Just 1 second while I enjoy a nacho. I think we're going to go to District Z 1001 so that we can restore our power. There are microbots covering the surface of that region. If the Vect break the surface, it could cost millions of lives. I'm sorry, guys. I know it's crappy for me to chew while casting. And put him in the back row. Oh no! Okay. All other Vect will explode on death, dealing 1 damage to adjacent tiles. So take that thing down, block Vec. I didn't think that through. Wanted to do this first. That was a stupid use of my reset. So efficiently done. Okay, so I want to deal with whatever threats. So I can run this guy down and knock this out of the way. Question is, how do I get more blocks in? I think we'll start with that. You know what, we might as well finish him off. Step out of the way. Naturally, as he was stepping out of the way, he said, "Ole!" And make this guy run into the drink. Sorry, I'm doing a really bad job of explaining. Oh, that's right, they drown. Sorry, I keep forgetting some of these aren't massive. We're back on the surface, so I just need 1 more to try and spawn. Okay, I'm not going to cry about him. Oh, that's going to be a bit of a dilemma. So we will defend the power. That's going to get me my block, which is good. So I will... Sadly, he doesn't get dropped into the drink. can end him. And this will be sufficient to get my bonus. So now basically I just need to defend everything. And unfortunately they're attacking all of my units, so... bully for me. And... might as well kill something for the coup de grace. And now we get our power back. Admittedly, one power back, but still, we're in good shape. Additional victories of this kind will increase our chances of survival considerably. And more grid defense. I like that. So, being reasonably healthy on the damage front. Isabel needs to get priority on attacks. I think we'll do Silicate Plains and then whatever this one is for the extra power. Our sentient mine layers have lost IO and are attempting to run old routines. Protect these blind, helpless creatures. Well, they're not asking for much. What the hell is that? Alpha Blobber throws a massive blob that will explode. I have a feeling I'm not going to like this very much. Technology in that time pod could be instrumental to protecting this island and others. Are those mines? They're ice mines. So surely there must be a way that I can... There must be a way that I can, like, destroy this thing. Oh, here's an interesting question. So this moves last. I'm going to allow for the possibility that if this thing takes damage, it does not explode. That's obviously a really big assumption on my part. But it allows me to do the following. Okay, now hopefully there is a clever way that I can use this guy. Probably after using him though, so... Oh, don't want to do that, because by punching... Well, see, if I move him up and I punch him... Yeah, that's still fine. So it would do damage to the bot, except that... they still drop bombs on moms. Okay. I might wind up losing power here, but again, presumably if my weapons would have done damage to this, or would have been able to neutralize this with damage, then the same would apply to the Vex, so we'll see if this is true or not. Cool. I learned something. Alright, that's going to be a problem. That's not going to be a problem. So the real question here is... who do I want to deal with this? Oh god, I got lucky there. So the real question is, do I want to attack this thing and have 3 guys pop up? Yes, that's exactly what I want. Because I've been wasting a lot of time on chasing chasing the blobs. That's gonna suck. Okay. So, priorities. I punch this thing, 1 damage to my artillery, and then I can move back. And then my artillery can take down... Yeah. Okay. The artillery takes this down. Punch that. Move back. So, drawback is we're going to have 2 new guys plus a blob to deal with. Good news is, as long as they leave the robots and the territory alone, which is of course never going to happen, we're golden for next turn. Thanks for the help, guys! Oh, Jesus Christ. Of course they would. Of course they would. Alright, let's think about how we're gonna do this. Artillery takes these 2 guys out. Fist takes this out. Tank knocks this through. Cool. Oh, god damn it. I am not paying attention at all to the effects of these things. And I believe that's the round. Grid defense is a ridiculously good stat. Vex retreat, not a total victory, but I'll take what I can get. Yeah, so there's like 2 energy bars that should have been lost as a result of my foolishness. Okay, so we gained heavy artillery, powerful attack that damages a large area. We only get one use per battle, and a reactor core, which is very important to me. So the real question is, who do I give it to? So I don't use dash as often as I think I do. So I can add that to add another 2 damage. Or I could restore my buildings immune. Technically I haven't been using my buildings immune, but I haven't been using it because of my... Yeah, you know what? We'll restore buildings immune. And I think when we buy our... cores, they'll go into the combat mech. So the question is, do I want to... So Glacier Cliff will be pretty easy, I think, for the less than 3 grid damage, and then protect the emergency batteries. Or I can defend both robot factories. I think I'm going to do Glacier Cliff. When I lost control of my environmental process, hundreds of Vec and machines alike were frozen solid. As the island comes back online, these fresh dangers are being freed. Okay. See how it goes. Oh, another pile. Okay, well. That'll probably kill the pod. breaks my heart to do that, but yeah, I think we'll just cool it for a bit. Okay, so this is a bit of a dilemma, because so I can kill this thing and knock this to the side, but I get the time pot if I do this, so I also get so, again, I'm trying to get the experience up on my tank, but I'm also trying to... I'm basically just trying to set myself up for the next round. So ideally what happens here, artillery on this thing, tank takes that out, and then... I mean, the tank actually has a few options available to it. It's either one-shot this, or in combination with the artillery. We'll see how it works, though, and I think we'll move this guy closer to the environment. I'll be honest, I don't think too much about the consequences of environment damage. Okay, what's the best way for me to handle this? Yeah, we'll still do this at long range, so... Fuck! Again, I just need to read the bloody instructions. Alright. We can still do the same. That's the funny thing, is that out of all of that, I could still do the exact same thing as before. No, I don't want to do that move. Instead, I want to move him up like this. If I attacked him from the other way, it'd either attack this this mech, or I would move him down into here. So, what it also does, it softens up for the tank, so they can get the extra experience. I am grateful for your help. Many lives were saved here. Although I guess with the grid defense, technically you can do a reset and you get 2 rolls. So, alright, let's see what the pod gave us. Excellent. A reactor core and the electric whip. Chain damage through adjacent targets. Sounds super tempting, but when are these things going to be all clustered up like that? Seismic activity, and we can get another 2 at corporate HQ. Alright, let's take a look into where I want to install that. Though, I think I'm gonna go for the heavy damage. Drawn up by your offensive against the Vec, the Hive leader is assaulting the corporate HQ. Pinnacle Tower is under attack. My analysis processor is unable to identify the species of Vec threatening us. Caution is advised. We can destroy the Beetle leader and protect the corporate tower. Ah, Jesus, blob dude again. Well, the good news is we hit like a truck now, so... and again, back row artillery, because I learn from my mistakes sometimes. Vex sighted, Commander. I'm sure this thing just does an absolutely disgusting amount of damage. Oh! Okay, so I think... Okay, so I can make some decisions here. Oh, so yeah, this guy's going after the tower. With this weapon, I do 4 now. So I'm just trying to think. Being a little reckless in terms of how, in terms of the civilian building damage that I'm thinking of, but like, well, actually, now that I think of it, so artillery shot here, this guy winds up destroying the blob. It's not so clear to me that I can get in range to dash this guy, though. So I think I will accept... I think I will accept the damage to... Hang on, how much does he do? Of course he does 3 damage. How much do you do? You do 1. Okay, so I don't think there's any saving this building. I think we'll just leave that to fate. So, artillery down on this thing, punch this, cannon on him, yeah. And again, if we're lucky, you know, this thing doesn't get destroyed, but I have a feeling we're going to lose 2 power off of that. Because I'm moving closer if I really want. Maybe not. Yeah. Not my favorite moment, but there you have it. Balls. Double balls. This game hates me. Okay, so I want to take this guy down for sure. I need to take this thing down, otherwise it's going to wreak havoc on my... Okay. That's that. People who want to do harm to my important buildings. I may want to reconsider that, actually. Okay, so I move him down. How much damage does this do? 1 damage? Unless I can somehow make him explode. Well, if I make him explode through this, but he only does the 1 damage to this guy, so that's not that impressive. So when they explode, how much do they do? 1 damage to adjacent tiles. You know what? I can get all this power back through the point. I hate the fact that I'm thinking this way. I'm gonna take the 1 damage no matter what, so... Well... Yeah, I'm taking the 1 damage no matter what, so. I'm alright, I just don't know for how long. I don't feel good about this turn. Yeah. Okay, so seems fairly clear to me. We take this guy out. We move. I'm actually going to decide later what to do with him. This guy needs to deal. Fuck me! Why can't I get that through my head? Oh, you know what? I don't have any other options to move, though. So... well... that was a good use of my ability. Yeah, I'm really letting this fall apart. Sorry, I'm not talking too much about this. I'm just swearing at the game. Wait, this is off by 1. I just should have done that whole thing just totally different, but that's life. Sometimes you make terrible mistakes and you need to learn from them. So, power available in my tank. So I'm gonna give him health or move. Oh, but you know what? Selling this stuff's gonna help us a lot. So, we'll sell these. So yeah, the real question here, I can get up to 3 reactor cores. Let's just see what... So 2 for dash. I don't think I need the extra damage. Okay, so definitely 2 of these. And then I can get full power grid for the final fight. So let me just, I want to think again, what am I going to gain? Additional health is useful. I've already got, we'll install these right now. So I've got dash for movement. I can gain nothing for that. And I'm mildly tempted to go for bonus health here. So power is how I want to spend my reputation. Six health? Nah, that's not worth it. Alright. By completing 3 islands, you've unlocked Detritus Disposal. In future games, you'll be able to visit unlocked islands in any order. So as tempting as it is to go for here, we're going to go to the Volcanic Hive. With Vect driven off the islands, you have a chance to wipe them out at their source. You are humanity's last hope. So this should be harder than last time because we took 4 islands. Chat has gotten very quiet. This unit risks itself by committing to the deploying rope power pylons. They'll keep you connected to the grid. Okay, so good news here is I don't need to worry about that threat. Bad news is I don't have a way to eliminate this guy. So I'm going to move back one with my artillery. I'm going to push this guy away from the problem. We'll move Isabel up. We'll knock her away from my pylon. And now I get a free move with my... we'll move him up. And that gets rid of these horrible, horrible problems. Yep, I'm comfortable with that. I'm going to take 1 damage, but I can live with that. By the way, if somebody is an active chatter, if I could just get a little activity in the chat room to know that I'm not running into the same problems I had yesterday. I don't think that's the source, but all right. I wasn't really paying attention to what was going on. So this guy is going to... The Alpha Crab is going to drop bombs on my moms. The ideal solution would be to hit this mountain, but I can't hit the mountain because I can't reach it unless I go into the fire. I can solve this problem by pushing him into the fire. Okay, let me see exactly what this Alpha Crab does. Launch artillery attack on 2 tiles. Alright, I've got my solution. No, I don't. So my original plan was to punch this guy and then move to the side. Oh, but artillery will fix that for me. Yes, so... You go into the fire. You go into the drink. You take it in the throat. And I will live with this. Got back surfacing, watch the ground. Alright, so the Scion Tyrant is going to... All player units take 1 damage at the end of every turn. Not my favorite ability. So this guy... Attack on 2 tiles, so I gotta move him to the side. I also need to move him to the side, but I can kill him in 1 shot. So, what do? We move... We take this guy down. I take... There's a smarter way for me to do this. Oh, god damn it, I forgot I did the bonus damage. That's not worth resetting over, but I'm upset. You know, it's only one more turn, so we get a recharge next round. So, I forgot that this guy does extra damage now. The plan was to get him to block someone. So what I should have done is the artillery should have taken that out, and then this guy should have punched the bigger guy. But all right. Should be fairly straightforward. So we eliminate the threat to the pylons. I'm not worried about the fact this takes a little bit of chip damage. And for style points... Oh, never mind. Yeah, we're good. Now, if we don't regenerate our health on phase 2, I am going to be in a lot of trouble. Thank you, Melee Mage. Incoming seismic activity, brace yourselves. So we're coming into this next fight with full power. But remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. Sending down power pylons. Keep them operational. We don't have any more. Central Vec Hive discovered. Probability of destroying Hive with current armament low. Deploying a Renfield bomb. Defend it while it primes and it will destroy the Hive. And that's the reason why the artillery got the bonus on. Confirmed. Alright, Riftwalkers. Form a circle around that bomb. You son of a bitch. Oh! I think I can one-shot this guy. Not quite. That sucks. Still not worth a reset for. I'd shoot my own guy into that bomb if I could, but it's not worth. Oh, see, I'm gonna wind up damaging my pylon too. Yeah, there's gonna be some nasty damage that I wind up taking. Okay, so the total damage will be 4. That's a scary number. What about... No, I can't shuffle that thing either. This thing has 2 damage, so that's going to be... Alright, well, we'll deal with the hand that we've got. The bomb is the priority. I only need to live 4 turns, even if I'm on lower damage, so... Oh, god damn it. No, 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 because he's going to do... That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. I'm going to have 1... You know what? I want to see what happens. I completely ignored what was going on with this guy. Okay. Yep. So this thing is a game ender. Oh, fuck me. This thing can take damage. Okay, so threats to threats to the main objective are sort of the It's going to take so much damage though. I'm going to need to reset this. Yeah, I didn't think, man, I didn't think through this. I didn't think through this approach at all. I might be screwing this up for myself, but let's see. Okay. So I can't eliminate. This is enough. This is going to be enough to end the run. I miscalculated again. Yeah, I just lost because of a stupid decision. I was so focused on those power. Yeah, I shouldn't have taken so much power damage because it made me think the wrong way. I was looking for a way to shuffle the Renfield bomb somewhere. Sort of Unknown Brigade. I'm playing poorly, so well, here's a way. I think this guy's bonus is still gonna kill the Renfield bomb, but oh, actually, what's the order of attack? Oh, I might have just saved us with this. This is gonna be a really hairy round, though. Nope, it's over. Yeah. Deploying another bomb will need more time to prime, so keep this one in one piece. Jesus Christ. Okay, well, we're still in the game. I definitely cannot afford to be making stupid mistakes anymore, though. Like, this is it. So, down here. I need to find a way to knock this guy away from the bomb, or from the the power. I knock this thing into the bomb. It'll be 1 damage to the Renfield bomb, but it keeps the power online, so... yeah, I can at least get a repair in. Oh, it's 2 damage because of the Scion attack. I need to pay closer attention to that. Okay. What's the order this happens in? Alright, so the environment happens before the damage to the Renfield bomb. If I'm misreading that, we're done for, but... competent. So I can take this thing out for sure, or I can repair. Okay, let me be sure about the sources of damage. Yeah, I am comfortable with this. I am trying to prioritize taking things off the board if I can. Okay. Everything's safe, and the source of major damage is going to be coming from here, and the bomb's in a relatively safe place. If I win this, it's not going to be because of my superior strategy, that's for sure. Vec has been prevented from surfacing. Okay, so I gotta... Well, this is good news, actually. There's not too many threats, so... we basically get to sit and repair. And we have a turn where only one thing comes up after us. I think we've won this. What happens if there's no... Yeah, it's exactly right, Unknown Brigade. Your units don't matter at all in this game. It's the power grid that matters. Alright. Everyone try and cover the Vec emergence poise. As long as we can eliminate this thing, we win. So I'm going to start with cannon, punch. The Renfield bomb is ready. I recommend you leave now or you'll share a grave with the Vec. Initiating breach farewell protocol. All Pinnacle thanks you, Walkers. Old soldiers never die. They just jump to other timelines. It's been a pleasure, team. If I see your counterparts, I'll give you your regards. Oh, that's a good win. Oh, I fucked that up so much. I'm really happy it turned out that way. Victory thanks to the valiant efforts of Chenrong, Isabel Sanchez, and Genos. The Vec Hive has been destroyed, saving this timeline from ultimate doom. Humanity can begin to recover from the destruction wrought by the Vec. We saved 14,023 civilian lives, total Earth lives saved approximately 4.6 billion. Which pilot do we want for the next timeline? I did like this grid defense, but yeah, we'll go for the grid defense. All right, we got our 3-island victory. So how does each clear work? What do you mean by clear, Unknown Brigade? I can show you. Sadly, guys, that's it for me tonight. I'm slightly over my time actually. And I think as much as I enjoy this game, I know I'm not going to be able to take this to the end, so... Oh, okay. I'll try and explain this as best as I can. Let's unlock another group. So we've got the... last time we unlocked the Rusting Hulks. The RST weather manipulators allow these mechs to take advantage of smoke storms everywhere. The Zenith Guard... Detritus beam technology and Pinnacle's shield technology create a powerful combination. Blitzkrieg RST engineers designed this squad around the mass destruction capabilities of harnessed lightning. So I'm going to need to get 4 more coins. So my 4-island coin and then whatever 3 on the Rusting Hulks, Zenith Guard or Blitzkrieg. All right, so how can I explain... Oh yeah, these are the color schemes. So basically, Unknown Brigade, have you ever played FTL? I'll head out. So if you go under statistics, basically, it'll... the way it sort of works is... You play, so the game starts off, you know, humanity is destroyed, you're playing Carl. No, but you've watched it. Okay. So basically this game has a very similar like tracking in terms of how well you've done each round that they've played. Incidentally, the most destructive is that Alpha Hornet is purely from that playthrough. That is how badly I managed my my game. So basically the idea here is that you open breaches into time, hence the name. And you'll go to save a particular timeline of Earth from the Vex. So you go from island to island. You need to clear at least 2 islands before you can get to that hive fight. And then the kind of the medals that you get are like 2-island, 3-island, and 4-island wins. So you take 1 time traveler with you to build your squad around. I've always used the Rift Walkers, but as you can see, there's a total. This is kind of the equivalent of having different ships in FTL. But the way it worked here is that rather than performing certain tasks to get certain ships, what you do is you just simply achieve. You get certain achievements, and then you can use that to buy whatever mechs you're interested in. And then there's random squad and customized squad, but well, I'll save that for later. But yeah, basically, so the game is set up that you get to pick one. You pick one pilot to take with you into the timeline. And then you can choose to save 2, 3, or 4 islands and then go to the final fight. The final fight seems a lot more forgiving than the flagship fight at the end of FTL. And then your success is basically determined by how many civilians you save. So the first time that we did this, we died on the 2nd island. We only saved 5,406 civilians. Well, I say quote-unquote saved, but I think the implication is that the Earth is destroyed if you don't kill the hive. First win, because we only did 2 islands, we saved 9,101 civilians. On the 3-island, we saved 14,023. If you do a hard run, you get an additional 50% for the score. But of course, there's more stuff that comes after you, and more difficult opponents that you face as you go through. So I think I can't remember if you have to win to get one of these guys or if you just go through like the last traveler or whatever. But in this case, I'm switching around. This person had max level. And again, I'm trying to unlock new time travelers, so that's why I kept them. I needed to decide between one of the two that I had. But anyways, this is an excellent game. I had a lot of fun playing it last Wednesday, and I had a lot of fun playing it today. It does seem to attract a bit of backseating, which I don't like, but that's not why I won't be playing it for the next little while. So I will explain briefly what's coming up for streams in the future. But I do want to say the only reason I'm playing this right now is GOG was good enough to give me a copy of this game. I was going to hold off playing it otherwise, but it's always nice to play a game close to release because I know that's when obviously developers are looking to sort of have the game climb up the charts on top selling at the beginning, so it's nice to kind of give this coverage and help out Subset in terms of selling this game. I mean, obviously they don't really need my help because this game is already really selling really well, and FTL was a very popular game. So but with that in mind, I mean, every little bit helps. It helps the thing climb up the most played list. If you're looking, I don't really do reviews, but what type of person would be attracted to this? Oddly enough, I don't necessarily say it's like if you liked FTL, you'll like this game. I think if you like XCOM, you'll like this game. But I mean, the fingerprints of Subset are definitely on top of this. Some of the things I like about it is it plays faster. I did need to think a little bit more on this 4-island run. So it was 3 hours instead of 1.5, but I think a lot of that was just caused by me doing my talking. You can usually get about 2 sessions in a cast, I notice. It's a strategy game, and strategies sort of have a little bit of a puzzle-like aspect to it, in my view. At least that's the way I think about them. I think the game is a little more forgiving than FTL. It has its own challenges for sure, but I think if you think your way through the problems, I think, and definitely as you saw at the end of that fight, I was able to lose the bomb, and it gave me a recovery, although I had to sort of defend myself for longer. The game's really good at teaching you its mechanics. Usually when something new comes up, it'll have a little tooltip that pops up to help you. I think that's a really nice feature that they have. And yeah, it's a really tightly done game. Whenever I find myself in a sticky situation, I know it's because I haven't planned as well. I feel there are very few situations where this game gives me like an impossible situation to deal with, which I like. And yeah, I mean, the only person I can't think of who would dislike it would be if you just don't like strategy stuff. But I'm assuming at this point you kind of know whether or not that's your thing. Again, I put up that GOG link for 2 reasons. One, I am partnered with them, so there's a little bit of revenue that comes towards me. The reason I'm partnered with them is they are my preferred digital distribution platform. But number 2, as always, I do like to try and encourage you guys to go towards GOG, even if you don't use my affiliate link, although you get it at no additional cost to you. Buying the game through GOG basically vindicates the faith that they put in me to picking up this game off that site. Of course, for you get it DRM free, so you don't need to phone back home on Steam to use it. If you want to use it, I personally prefer the GOG Galaxy client because it keeps everything up to date. But if you prefer to just have a copy on your laptop and not have to have a client, that's totally fine. That's why GOG does what it does. But again, Subset is the person you need to be supporting the most out of this. So if you are interested in the game, I do recommend that you buy it. If you buy it through GOG, that will make me very happy. That will make GOG very happy. But above all, it's important to support the developers. So with that in mind, let's take a look at who we can host tonight. I like W. Shand a lot, but Kilgore Trout is playing Realms of the Haunting, which I've never heard. heard of. Kilgore Trout is another GOG streamer. He's a wonderful guy, fellow Canadian, and he always knows how to put on a good show, but more importantly, he plays a lot of classic games that he really enjoyed when they first came out. So I always learn something new watching his channel. He does box hype and movie hype, so he's got an enormous DVD collection, and he's got a big collection of old video game boxes. So partway through the cast, he brings those out. He's one of my favorite people to host, and that's who I will host for this evening. So thank you very... Oh yeah, I said I was going to explain what was going on. So Monday night is Stellaris, as always. The reason I'm not returning to Into the Breach is on Wednesday and Friday of next week, I got something by surprise. I'm really excited to show it to you guys because it's going to fix a... So there's something that people asked for a while ago. I don't know if you're still here, Logan, but I should explain... Talk to me after, and I'll explain. You're partially responsible for what's going to be coming up next week. But yeah, there was an opportunity that came up. I jumped at it. So there's going to be a new game that I play on Wednesday and Friday of next week that I have had a lot of fun with, and I am really looking forward to showing you. And I'm not going to say what it is. But yeah, Stellaris on Monday, Something Secret Wednesday and Friday. After that, I'm sure I'll be going back to Into the Breach for a bit. But yeah, I've really enjoyed this game. The only reason I'm not going to be doing it for the next week is that I've got another... I've got my usual commitments in terms of things that I've been giving keys for, and I've wanted to honor. But I think you guys are really going to enjoy what I have coming up. So with that in mind, I will not lose Kilgore any more viewers to send along on the host. I'd love it if you guys can drop that. Hang on, did I not hit the raid Kilgore thing? Okay, raid Kilgore Trout. Kilgore's a great guy. Please do drop that raid message inside there. I'll be hanging out for a little bit before going to bed. But thank you everybody for sharing Into the Breach with me again, and we will see you next time.